Hi friends, today we are discussing on the topic the routes of drug administration. This video gives us basic ideas on the terms we are facing like tablet, IM, IV, IP, etc. As a medical professional, we should know these terms because if one doctor asks me the route of drug administration, if the drug is given by IP or IT, I should know what is IP and IT. Also, if anyone inquire me if this drug can be administered to a shock patient, I should answer such questions. Today, we are going to discuss on the various routes of drug administration, its advantages and disadvantages. First of all, what is route of drug administration? As the word meaning route is the way taken into the body from a starting point to the destination. In our terms, we can tell that route of administration means a way through which the drug moves from the site of administration to the site of action. So, this is route. I think you get the meaning of the route of drug administration. Before choosing a particular route of drug administration, we want to consider the two main factors, that is the drug related factor as well as the patient related factor for choosing a particular route of drug administration. The drug related factors include the physical and chemical property as well as the bioavailability of different routes. First one, physical and chemical property. That is, the physical state of the drug should be considered. That is, the dosage form is available in tablet or syrup, like that we want to consider. And the chemical property. That is, if there are any chance of the drug to get reacted. Second thing is the compared bioavailability of different routes. That is, we want to consider the dosage form which is mostly bioavailable. That is, among the different routes, in which form the drug is more bioavailable, in such dosage form we want to administer that particular drug. Second is the patient related factor. Here we want to consider the condition of a patient. That is, if a drug is given to a bedridden patient, such things we want to consider. Or in the case of a pediatric patient, we can give by rectal administration. Then second factor is site of desired administration. That is, in case of IM, there is absorption pattern is uniform. So there is rapid absorption at the site of muscle. So if it is given to a highly exercising patient, chances of faster release is the. So in such cases, we want to consider an IM depot for that. Next factor, the effect of digestive juice and first pass metabolism. That is, we want to consider if the patient, the GI absorption rate is regular, or if there's any chance of first pass metabolism in particular route of administration, that we should consider. Then urgency for the response. That is, if the dosage form needs an urgent effect, we want to go for IV like that. If it is a not urgent case, we can administer like oral routes like tablet, capsule, etc. And next thing, the accuracy of dosing. We want to think the accurate dosing can be more given by the parenteral routes other than oral route. Such factors should be considered at the time of choosing a particular route of drug administration. We can classify the routes of drug administration based on the effect seen. That is, it is on the systemic, that is producing an effect on the body. If it is having a local action, local route of administration can be administered. If it produces need and access to blood, we can go for such things. Intravascular means within a blood vessel or blood vascular system. We can go for such system. Extravascular or locational which the substance is applied. then we can go to a particular site of route of administration. The ultimate aim of choosing a particular route of administration is that among the various routes of drug administration, we want to get more bioavailability among the various dosage forms. Next thing is we want to discuss is about the bioavailability. Bioavailability indicates a fraction, that is F, of an orally administered dose that reaches the systemic circulation as an inductant. Simply we can tell that it is the availability of the drug to the human body, that is bioavailability from a dosage form in a simple words. Or it can be tell that the rate and extent, that is the amount of absorption of unchanged drug from its dosage form. That is, if the drug is dosage form is having the slower absorption rate, that will produce a prolonged duration of action. And extent of absorption should be considered in case of patient, that is in the case of treatment of chronic diseases such as hypertension, epilepsy, etc. The fraction F is equal to bioavailable dose by administered dose, that is the fraction of the administered dosage form that enter the circulation from the administered dose. Here, the bioavailability depends on two factors, that is on the drug preparation as well as the host factors. The bioavailability of the same preparation may vary based on many factors. Next, we just going through the plasma drug concentration time profile. This is a typical plasma concentration time profile showing the pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic parameter after oral administration of a drug. Here we are just discussing the important terms we are dealing. We can go in depth in the biopharmaceutics subjects. The main pharmacokinetic parameter considered is first one, that is when the drug is administered. If it is an oral administration, the curve will start from here and it will produce same curve like that. This curve is called as the absorption phase. This is the post absorption phase and this is the elimination phase. Here we can find a term that is the Cmax, first term. It is the point of maximum concentration of the drug in plasma. And the corresponding height is the peak height concentration. And Tmax is the time for the drug to reach the peak plasma concentration, that is Tmax. And AUC, that is the curve under which it represents the total integrated area under this plasma level time profile. And for the drug or dosage form to show its effect, it should cross over the minimum effective concentration, that is the minimum concentration of the drug in plasma required to produce the therapeutic effect, that is the minimum effective concentration. If it is below, it can be called as subtherapeutic level. Above that, the maximum safe concentration is the concentration of the drug in plasma above which adverse or unwanted effects are precipitated. And duration of action is the time period for which the plasma concentration of the drug remain above this minimum effective level. And that time period is the duration of action. Intensity is the maximum pharmacological response produced by the peak plasma concentration, and that maximum peak is intensity of action. Next term, bioequivalence. Bioequivalence is the sum of bioavailability plus the rate of absorption, that is in short bioequivalence. Or we can define the bioequivalence based on that. That is, it is a we can define the bioequivalence as a relative term, which denotes the drug substance in two or more identical dosage form, that is in different dosage form, identical one or more identical dosage form reaches the systemic circulation at the same relative rate and to the same relative extent, will be identical without significant statistical difference. Such dosage form can be called as bioequivalent. Whereas if statistical significant difference are observed in the bioavailability of two or more drug products, that is bioinequivalence. It includes the maximum concentration achieved Cmax, the time taken from the dosing to reach maximum concentration Tmax, as well as the area under curve AUC 0 infinity. These are the major routes of drug administration. Oral routes are the sublingual route is the inhalation, transdermal patch, rectal, topical administration, parenteral, that is maybe IV, IM, subcutaneous, etc. The enteral routes of drug administration. Enteral. Enteral means through the human GIT. Enteral administration involves the esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. Here the method of administration may be oral, sublingual, buccal, rectal, etc. Here in enteral route we want to consider the soluble drugs, enteric-coated or slow release formulation. Enteric-coated means what? The polymeric barrier is applied to the medication to prevent the disintegration or dissolution in the gastric condition. And slow release formation, that is for like the control release preparation like osmotic pump. Next, parenteral. Parenteral like IV, IM, subcutaneous, intradermal, intrathecal, etc. Here, different rates of absorption can be seen and with different plasma peaks for various parenteral routes. Skin. In skin, it produces both local or systemic effect. Example for skin applied dosage form is patches. In the case of lungs, inhalation is the process carrying out. Local or systemic effect can be produced. In the case of vaginal, usually local effect is producing, as well as in eye, local action is producing. Next thing is we want to discuss is about the bioavailability. Bioavailability indicates a fraction, that is F, of an orally administered dose that reaches the systemic circulation as an inductant. Simply we can tell that it is the availability of the drug to the human body, that is bioavailability from a dosage form in a simple words. Or it can be tell that the rate and extent, that is the amount of absorption of unchanged drug from its dose. Hi friends, today we are discussing on the topic the routes of drug administration. This video gives us basic ideas on the terms we are facing like tablet, IM, IV, IP, etc. As a medical professional, we should know these terms because if one doctor asks me the route of drug administration, if the drug is given by IP or IT, I should know what is IP and IT. Also, if anyone inquire me if this drug can be administered to a shock patient, I should answer such questions. Today, we are going to discuss on the various routes of drug administration, its advantages and disadvantages. These are the major dosage form coming under the oral category: capsules, powder, tablets, pansule, syrup, emulsion, suspension, and elixir. I think we are familiar with all the terms except pansule. Pansule is the advanced drug delivery system This is a capsule containing the medicament in the form of a granule coated with the material having the slowly dissolving material. So it delivered the drug at a different specific time. Next route, sublingual or buccal route of administration. As the word term, here the tablet or pellet containing the drug is placed under the tongue or crushed in the mouth and spread over the buccal mucosa. That is, sublingual means under the tongue. If it is crushed in the mouth and spread over the buccal mucosa, it is the buccal route. The advantages of this route are the drug absorption is quick. We can quickly terminate. That is, if we want to spit, we can spit it. First pass is avoided. Can be self-administered. It is economical. Coming to disadvantages, it is unpalatable and we can administer the bitter drugs, and there is a chance of irritation of the oral mucosa because we are placing on the buccal cavity. Large quantities we cannot given by this route, and few drugs are absorbed in this buccal mucosa. So such drugs only can be administered by this. The enteral routes of drug administration. Enteral. Enteral means through the human GIT. Enteral administration involves the esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. Here the method of administration may be oral, sublingual, buccal, rectal, etc. Here in enteral route we want to consider the soluble drugs, enteric-coated or slow release formulation. Enteric-coated means what? The polymeric barrier is applied to the medication to prevent the disintegration or dissolution in the gastric condition. And slow release formation, that is for like the controlled release preparation like osmotic pump. Next, parenteral. Parenteral like IV, IM, subcutaneous, intradermal, intrathecal, etc. Here, different rates of absorption can be seen and with different plasma peaks for various parenteral routes. Skin. Disadvantages of rectal routes are it is inconvenient in some cases, absorption is slow and erratic, and irritation or inflammation of rectal mucosa can occur in case of drugs like indomethacin, paraldehyde, ergotamine, etc. Next, we just going through the plasma drug concentration time profile. This is a typical plasma concentration time profile showing the pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic parameter after oral administration of a drug. Here we are just discussing the important terms we are dealing. We can go in depth in the biopharmaceutic subjects. The main pharmacokinetic parameter considered is first one, that is when the drug is administered. If it is an oral administration, the curve will start from here and it will produce same curve like that. This curve is called as the absorption phase. This is the post absorption phase and this is the elimination phase. Here first one, intradermal. We are just moving into the terms intradermal, injection into the skin. Subcutaneous, the absorption of drug from the subcutaneous tissue, and intramuscular route, the drug injected into the skeletal muscle. Intravascular, placing a drug directly into the bloodstream. This is the various routes of drug administration. Here, this is the skin layer, that is epidermis, then dermis, subcutaneous tissue and muscle. If we are administering into the skin, it is in the outer layer, it is intradermal. If it is given into the next layer, that is a subcutaneous tissue, that is SC route. If it is given more depth, that is into the muscle, it is intramuscular. And if it is given into the bloodstream or vein, it is intravascular. That is skin, intradermal, subcutaneous tissue, SC. If it is in the inner portion, that is into the muscle, it is intramuscular, and it is into the bloodstream, that is intravascular. Here the rate limiting factors are the diffusion through the tissue as well as the removal of drug by the local blood flow. First pass metabolism. It is the metabolism of drug in the gut wall or portal circulation before reaching the systemic circulation. So the amount reaching the system is less than the amount absorbed. That is, it is the metabolism either going on in the gut wall or in the portal circulation. Portal circulation means the blood flow from the abdominal organ passes through the portal vein and passes into the liver. And that is metabolism that is carrying out in the gut wall or liver before reaching systemic circulation, that may result in amount absorbed less than the actual amount. Normally, the first pass metabolism is carrying out in liver, gut wall and gut lumen, and finally result in low bioavailability and short duration of action or T-half. This is a schematic representation of the first pass metabolism. That is, if the drug is given as oral, are first exposed to liver and may extensively metabolize before reaching the remaining parts of the body and produces a less effect or shorter duration of action. If it is given by IV, this will directly goes into systemic circulation and have direct access to the rest of the body. So by parenteral routes we can avoid this first pass metabolism. That is, in short, this first pass metabolism is happening in orally administered drug. That is, through liver, it is bypassing the normal absorption from GI tract and metabolism is carrying out, and finally result in less absorption of the drug into the general circulation or into the rest of the body. Parenteral administration, as the word means, it is other than oral routes. Advantages of this parenteral administration are it results in high bioavailability, it produces rapid action and can be used in emergency condition, and there is no first pass metabolism as we already discussed. Disadvantages are they may result in infection, need of sterilization if needed, and it is an invasive, that is, it needs the introduction of an equipment into our body, so we need an assistance. Intravenous route, that is, the drug is injected as a bolus. Bolus means lump, or infused slowly over hours into one of the superficial veins. Then the drug reaches directly into the bloodstream and it produces effect immediately. But there is a hazard, that is result in thrombophlebitis of the injected vein. That is, it results in an inflammatory process that causes blood clot. Is a problem. The advantages of intravenous route are the IV is the most common parenteral route for the drugs that are not absorbed orally. It avoids the first pass metabolism by the liver. It permits a rapid effect, maximal degree of control over the circulating level of the drug, as well as it produces a titration of dose with response. Large quantities can be given fairly, it is pain-free, 100% bioavailability, and absorption phase can be bipolar. These are the various IV route, can be given as IV infusion, as ampules. This route is suitable for patients who are in condition like vomiting, unconscious, and also used to administer the irritant and bad taste. Disadvantages of the intravenous route. Those that are injected cannot be recalled by the strategies such as MSS or binding to activated charcoal here. IV injection may induce hemolysis. Hemolysis means the breakdown of RBC, or may cause other adverse reaction by the too rapid delivery of the high concentration of drug to the plasma as well as in the tissues. Another disadvantage is thrombophlebitis of the vein. Thrombophlebitis means the inflammatory process that causes a blood clot to form and block one or more veins, usually in legs. If the affected vein is usually near the surface of the skin, such thrombophlebitis can be called as superficial thrombophlebitis, and it is deep, it may called as deep vein thrombosis. Here, the thrombophlebitis of vein is a disadvantage and necrosis of the adjoining tissues, and if extravasation occur in such condition. Another chances is that chance of causing air embolism is another risk of this route. So, we want to avoid this thrombophlebitis can be minimized by diluting the drug or injecting into running IV line. Only aqueous solution are to be injected IV, and there are no depot preparation for this route. This is the most risky route, that is vital organs like heart, brain, etc. get exposed to high concentrations of the drug. Intramuscular route. Intramuscular route means the drug is injected into the one of the large skeletal muscles such as deltoid, triceps, gluteus maximus, rectus femoris, etc. Here the muscles are less richly supplied with the sensory nerves and more vascular. Advantages are absorption reasonably uniform, rapid onset of action, mild irritants can be given by this route, pus can be avoided, gastric factors avoided. Disadvantage is that in anticoagulant treated patient that may result in local hematoma. So it should be avoided in anticoagulant treated patient because it may result in local hematoma. Subcutaneous route. That is, here the drug is deposited in the loose subcutaneous tissue which is richly supplied with nerves but is less vascular. Here irritant drugs cannot be injected and slow absorption than the IM route. Should be avoided in shock patients who are vasoconstricted and absorption will be delayed. Only small volume can be injected through this route. Subcutaneous injection minimizes the risk associated with IV injection. Depot preparation can be injected, and some special route of subcutaneous injection are dermojet, that is a high velocity jet of drug solution is projected from a microfine orifice using a gun. It is a painless method. Second special method is pellet implantation, that is a solid pellet is introduced into the with the help of a trocar and cannula and produce a sustained release over a week. And third one, CLSTIC and biodegradable implants. CLSTIC is non-biodegradable and biodegradable implants. Here the crystalline drug is packed in a tubes or capsule, and here slow and uniform leaching of the drug occurs and produce a constant blood level. Intradermal route. Intradermal means the drug is injected into the skin, raising a bleb. Bleb means a small blisters occur on the skin or scarring or multiple puncture of the epidermis through a drop of drug is done. This route is employed for special purpose, that is, in case of BCG vaccine, sensitivity tests are administered by this intradermal route. Next, intrathecal or intraventricular. It is sometimes necessary to introduce the drugs directly into the cerebrospinal fluid. For example, in case of the drug amphotericin B used in treating the cryptococcal meningitis. Transdermal route. This route of administration achieves the systemic effect by application of the drug, usually through the transdermal medicated adhesive patch. The rate of absorption depending on the physical characteristic and the application. It produces a slow effect. Prolonged duration of action is achieved here. This is most often used for the sustained delivery of the drugs such as anti-anginal drug such as nitroglycerin, antiemetic like scopolamine, nicotine patches, etc. The site of action is the upper arm, chest, abdomen and mastoid region. Mastoid means the part of the temporal bone of the skull that is behind the ear. Here the pus is avoided. Absorption is increased by the administration of the oily base, occlusive dressing, rubbing preparation like that. These are the devices in the form of the adhesive patches of various shape and sizes are there. This is an illustration of the transdermal drug delivery system. Here, the drug in solution or bound to a polymer is held in a reservoir between the occlusive backing film and a rate controlling micropore membrane. Under the surface of which is smeared with an adhesive layer with priming dose of the drug. The adhesive layer is protected by another film that is to be peeled off just before application. The drug is delivered at the skin surface by the diffusion process. Usually chest, abdomen, upper arm, lower back, buttock or muscle region are utilized for the administration. Topical application. It produces a local effect to skin, that is percutaneous, example allergy testing, topical anesthesia. Mucous membrane of the respiratory tract as inhalation, example in case of asthma. Eye drops, example in case of conjunctivitis. Ear drops, example in case of otitis externa. Intranasal in case of decongestant spray. Skin as topical in different forms, dermally as oil or ointment for the local action, antiseptic cream and lotion, or a sunscreen lotion, and inhalation, that is administering the drug into the mucous membrane of the respiratory system. Rapid absorption is an advantage of this inhalation due to large surface area and also provide local action. Disadvantage is that only few drugs can be used by this inhalation. It produces minor systemic effect such as low bioavailability, less side effects, no first pass effect. The dosage form by inhalation are aerosol and nebulizer. Intranasal, that is, this route involves the administration of drug directly into the nose. Agents include the nasal decongestant such as anti-inflammatory corticosteroid. Example, desmopressin is administered intranasally and used in the treatment of diabetes insipidus. Second, salmon calcitonin, this is a peptide hormone used in the treatment of osteoporosis, is also available as a nasal spray. Then the abuse drug cocaine, which is generally taken by the intranasal sniffing. By this we come to the end of the session. Please do subscribe Pharmamitra. Thank you for watching. Thank you.